Hello and welcome back to MultiVendorX. Today's video will be all about booking marketplace. If you're thinking of offering services or products that needs to be pre-booked, the bookable product type is your go-to option. With the MultiVendorX Pro, adding and managing a bookable product can be done easily in just a few steps. Before starting with the configuration, we need to keep in mind that to install and activate the WooCommerce booking plugin. This is because MultiVendorX provides you with the benefit of availing of this WooCommerce features to multiple vendors, which in turn assist you in creating a multi-vendor booking marketplace. At first, the admin needs to present vendors with the option of adding a bookable product from their respective dashboard. To do this, we shall be following a few steps. We will first enable the booking product from marketplace types under modules of MultiVendorX. Now that you have enabled vendors to upload booking products, we will be going through the settings on the vendor's end. From the dashboard, go to Add Product page under the Product Manager and then follow our patent ways of adding the product which we have been following for long. As always, as a product title, description and upload the proper image for the particular bookable product. How to add product is already discussed in our product management video. The links will be provided in the description box below, so do not forget to check that out. Now let's jump to the main part of the video, the product type section. Here, the vendor will have to select the product type as bookable product. Once selected, there will be a change in the general settings section. Here, the vendors will have to configure the duration and the time of the booking. Given below are the details of the general settings. Booking duration. This section lets the vendor to set the period till which they want the booking to last. Booking duration can be set as per fixed blocks. Fixed blocks enables vendor to decide the duration till which they want the product to be available. This way, customers can book the product only when it is available. For example, a vendor only sets an appointment on Wednesday. If he or she is booked for the first week of Wednesday, the customer has to wait for the next Wednesday before they can set an appointment. Customer defined blocks. With this option, vendors can let customer decide when they want to book a product. Unlike the previous option, customers can book them according to their conveniences. For example, the co-working space is rented out in the early intervals, and the customer can define how many per hour blocks they would like to rent. Minimum duration. This refers to the least amount of time till which the customer can book a product. Maximum duration. Opposite of minimum duration, here the vendors can set the utmost amount of time till which the customer can book a product. Enable calendar range pickup. This option is only available if the booking duration is customer defined. Here, customer can select a start date and an end date for their booking within the calendar, which we will discuss in the next point. Calendar display mode. This option lets vendor decide whether they want to let customer view the calendar or not. Request confirmation. Enabling this option will mean that the customer booking has to be manually booked by the vendor after he or she confirms it from the customer. The customer, on the other hand, will only be able to view the check availability option until the vendor confirms the booking. Can be cancelled. When the vendor enables this option, it means that he or she has allowed customer to cancel their bookings. Once enabled, the vendor can decide on the date till which cancellation can be allowed. Setting a price for the bookable product would be a bit different from setting a price from a simple product. Here you can add two separate price details. These details includes base price. A very simple description of the base price would be that is the principal amount of a product. In other words, it is the basic amount a customer would have to pay if he or she wishes to avail of the product or service. Vendors can create a variation of block price. A block price can be charged for every block, segment, time a customer wishes to purchase. A rudimentary example of block price can be if a customer wishes to book an hour for a spa service, the block price for that hour can be $10. If the customer wishes to book the service for 2 hours, the block price it will be 10 hours for 1 hour plus 10 hours for another hour, which equals to $20 for 2 hours. Display cost. This is the amount that would be visible to a customer. MultiVendorX offers vendors an additional option to set a variety of price based on time, date, person or block. To know how to create a range of prices, the vendor can select the Add Range option visible under the Range Type block. Then the vendor needs to select the range type. The range type refers to the date range of the product. This means here the vendor can decide whether he or she wants the product to be available for a month, week, or even a specific day. In reference, you will be able to see the option available under the range type. Under the range column, the vendor can manage the dates of his booking. Here the vendor can add to and the from date of availing the product. Arithmetic symbol. Before adding a range-based price, vendors will notice a field showcasing the plus, minus, multiplication and division symbol. Selecting the symbol will allow the range block or block price to be added, subtracted, multiplied or divided from the original base or block price added by the vendor. Base price added in the range will either be added, subtracted, multiplied or divided or equal to or from the original base price added by you. Given below are 2 examples that will help you understand the process. Now, if the original base price is $100 and the vendor selects add sign and then adds an amount of $5, the total amount the customer has to pay would be $105. Block price. As explained above, the range block price can be added, subtracted, multiplied or divided from the original block price. Managing the availability tab of the product data meta box will help the vendor display to customers the availability of their services or products. To set up the availability of the product, the vendor has to set up the following details. Maximum bookings per block. Maximum bookings per blocks gives vendor the chance to do multiple bookings at the same time. For example, if the vendor is hosting an online show, multiple customers will be able to book it at the same time if this option is enabled. Maximum or minimum blocks bookable. This refers to the highest or the lowest limit of the block a customer can book before the availability of service. For example, if today is 5th of December and the minimum block bookable is set to a month in future, then the first date on which a customer can book would be 5th of January. Buffer period required between bookings. Based on the time set for the booking, minutes, hours or day, a period that is not available for others can be specified. For example, if the vendor wishes to sell appointments in 2 hours blocks and wants to have an hour break in between, you can specify a buffer period of your choice. Adjacent buffering. If you wish to add a buffer period both before and after your appointments, select the adjacent booking checkbox. All dates availability. This option helps you to set based on available by default. If the vendor selects available by default, it means all blocks are available and you can set rules and turn off certain blocks. Not available by default. Alternatively, if a vendor selects not available by default, it will mean that blocks are not available and must be turned on through availability rules. Availability rules. Vendors can further customize their availability option by selecting their availability rules. These rules let the vendors make their blocks either available or unavailable to customers. The two options present under this section are all blocks being blocked. This feature checks the blocks that are available for a particular duration. For example, if a customer books for 6 days and one block is equal to 1 day, then this feature will check the availability for all the 6 days. The starting block. This feature will enable you to check the first block that the user selects. For example, if the customer chooses to book for 4 days and one block is equal to 1 day, this feature will check the availability for the first day only. First block starts at. For user who wishes to restrict booking hours can set a time with this feature. Restrict selectable days. This option is to be selected if the vendor wishes to not accept bookings for certain days. When the vendor selects days on which he or she shall not accept bookings, customer will not be able to click those dates on the calendar while booking the product. Add range. As mentioned in the previous section, adding a range will provide more options to the vendor and the customer. Section available under this are range type. The range type settings for availability would be the same as one for the cost tab. Range. The range lets the vendor select the onset and the end time of the bookable product. Bookable. The bookable option lets vendor decide whether he or she wishes to accept the booking at a given time range or not. Priority. By adding a priority, the vendor can decide whether a certain booking option can precede the other. For example, the vendor can add rules like on May Thursday, the booking period is from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. But there can also be an option where on June Thursday, the bookable timing is from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Now, if the priority level of May Thursday is set to 1, it will take precedence over the June Thursday, format which would be set as priority level 2. Alternatively, when the month of June arrives, the vendors can reverse the priority levels. Resource tab. Managing resource lets the vendor offer the customers the option of extra amenities exclusive of the bookable product. These can include room type option like deluxe, suite, etc., usage of pool or gym service, salon service, etc. Vendors can add resource for a bookable product simply by ticking on Has Resource option available in the product data meta box. To add a resource, the vendor has to add the following information. Label. In the label field, vendor can name the resource they wish to add. Resource R. This section selects the vendor decide how he wishes to assign the resources. Resource can be assigned based on customer selected. If this option is selected, customer can decide whether they wish to opt for the resource or not. Automatically assigned. Some services can be automatically assigned to the customers depending on certain criteria. For example, if there is a room booking for 4 people, the customer would automatically be assigned a deluxe room instead of a regular room. Add link resource. This option will let the vendor add or create bookable product resource. Along with this, vendors can also add the individual price of this resource. In the Manage Booking section of this article, we will see how vendors can manage this resource. Person tab. As many of us know, some bookings conventions like accommodation or movie bookings put out restriction in terms of people allowed to make a booking. This can be due to lack of space, lack of resources, or any such factors. But no matter the cause, MultiVendorX offers vendors the option to set up booking per person. Vendors can add persons for a bookable product simply by ticking on the Has Person option available in the product data meta box. Minimum or maximum person per booking. Depending on space or resources, vendor can decide on the number of person they can accept per booking. One example of such booking can be in the movie hall. Only a certain number of seats are available. Based on those seats, only that amount of people can be accepted. So keeping those numbers in mind, vendors can decide on the minimum or the maximum number of people allowed to make a reservation. Multiply cost per person count. An interesting option that lets vendor charge booking fee based on people making a reservation, as opposed to charging based on a block. This means instead of charging for say an hour, the vendor can simply charge on how many people want to reserve the service for the hour. Count person as booking. As we have discussed before in this tutorial availability section, there is a maximum booking per block option available. If the vendor selects the count person as a booking option, then each person would be counted as a booking until the maximum number added in the maximum booking per block section is reached. Enable person types. This booking option lets the vendor set a variation of price based on the person age, gender, or even number. To add a person type option, the vendor can add in the following details. Person type name. In this field, the vendor can type in the name of the person, for example, child, adult, or woman. Base price. This refers to the basic or the minimal cost of the booking. Block price. Block price is charged on the basis of every individual block. To get a better understanding, refer to the cost tab section on this tutorial. Description. Vendor can specify the basic requirement of the person type in this field. As shown in the tutorial, the description of a child is under 10 years of age. Minimum and maximum. This field let the vendor add both the list and the most number of people they wish for the product. For example, on Women's Day, the vendor wishes to put on a sale, so he or she can set up the maximum number of women being the person type here, available the product to be 20 versus men availing the product to be only 10. Manual booking. Vendors can now create bookings from their dashboard in place of the customer. These bookings are usually made when the vendor wishes for the customer to confirm a booking. To book a product from the vendor site, the vendor must go to the vendor dashboard and select the booking menu. Once the booking menu list drops, the vendor can then select Add Booking option. As soon as the Add Booking page opens, the vendor can add the customer's name in the customer field. Next, the vendor can select the bookable item which he or she wishes to reserve for the customer. Then the vendor can create an order. Vendors can either create a new order for the product or link it with the order created by the customer already. An alternate Do Not Create Order option is available. This option is selected by default, as most bookable products are generally booked by the customer. Now that we have seen how vendors can add bookable product to a product list, is not it obvious to learn how to manage these products? Well, with this easy to follow instruction, vendors would learn how to manage multiple booking items in no time. The booking log keeps track of all the vendors' booking for them. In addition to this, vendors can filter and view their bookings following the payment statuses or the bookable product name. The information displayed under these logs are ID. The identification number present under the ID column can be used by the vendor to keep track of the individual booking. Booked product. The booked product section reflects the name of the bookable item. Off person. In this case, a product is booked based on people. The vendor can view the number of people making the booking here. Booked by. This section of the booking log displays the name of the person making the booking. Order. The order section showcases to the vendor the order number of the booking. This way it gets easier for the vendor to keep the amount of the order. Start and the end date. These two columns shows the vendor the beginning and the ending dates of the booking period. Action. The action column will redirect the vendor to the page exhibiting the booking information. The booking details page open if the vendor select the view under the action column of the booking log. Here, the vendor would be able to view the basic information about the booking along with the customer details. Apart from viewing the vital information, vendor can also manually change the booking payment statuses by selecting either the unpaid, confirmed, pending confirmation, paid, cancelled, or complete option. The resource management option lets the vendor view and track the resource created by them. Here, the vendor can view both the name and the date on which the resource was booked. Just like a planner, vendors can view their bookings on a calendar format. The booking planner also makes it easier for the vendor to see whether they are booked on an hourly, daily, weekly, or monthly basis. The vendor can also create a custom Google Calendar by going to this Google settings. There, they can also attach the client ID and the client secret key. Lastly, under the Send Notification tab, you may send an email notification to all customers who have a future booking for a product. This will use the default template specified under the WooCommerce settings emails. The vendors can customize it by adding the booking product and booking objects. Under the message field, the vendor can attach the message that will be sent to the desired customers with the default template. With this, we have come to the end of the tutorial. Hope vendors find it easy to create multiple booking products. If you like the tutorial, then do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel. Click onto the small red bell to get notified whenever we post a new video. Thank you for watching.